Welcome everyone to another workshop from OverPower Marketing, and this time welcome to the third quarter of 2025. So, without further ado, we have Coven Powell on the call as well with us.
So as Mustafa was saying earlier, we're going to be going over basically how to start up your business from the ground up. For this third quarter, we're going to be teaching you how to basically set up your sub account from beginning to end, while also giving more informational tips on how to get your sub account going. So as far as this workshop lesson, we're going to be going over forms, surveys, and workflows for forms and surveys as well. And we're just going to be making a series out of this, just basic tips that we've actually used surveys to gather information about what y'all would like to hear from these workshops. So this lesson is going to be pretty important if you want to get more information of your customers and what you should be advertising more of. So give me 1 second to stream my screen real quick. So as I was saying, we're going to be going over forms and surveys primarily. Now, the main difference between forms and surveys is forms is short form content to gather information, whereas surveys is long form content where you can gather even more information. However, people are less likely to complete the survey because it is way more likely for a person to finish short form content than long form. Now, as far as creating a form, you want to go to your sites, forms, add form. You can start from scratch, or you can go through the template library, which I'm going to do right now. I'm just going to give a basic summary as to how to get these two started, and then I'm going to pass it over to Mustafa so he can further explain any other additional details. So in this template library, there are plenty of generic forms that you can choose from, different templates that you can choose. But for this, let's just say I want to make a real estate type of form. And as we can see here, there's plenty of options. Let's go with real estate broker contact. Here we can see a little preview of it. Then we're going to let this load. And while I'm on this, I'm going to do the exact same thing for surveys. Again, search for real estate and hit continue. All right, here we have our template right here. It is basically pretty much filled out. We can add any additional elements that we choose. So for example, if we don't want full name, we can take that out, click on that, click the X, put in first name and last name and put those separately. You can also choose if you want to make them required as well. Just click on the element, hit required, which you most likely will want to for a lot of this information. And basically, there is your regular short content form. You can remove stuff, add elements, whatever you desire. Now, as far as surveys, it is going to be multi-page content that is asking for information from your client. So as we can see here, full name on the first page, let's remove that. Instead, let's add first name, last name, phone number. You cannot put additional like phone number or email. You can only use one of those elements at a time. So put in phone, put in email, and there we go. There's our first page of the survey. Now let's say that we want to get additional information. So like, where do you live? On the next page, we can put a message asking, what would you like to see from our workshop? And there you go. You basically made a very quick and easy survey asking for more content or more information. However, like I said before, it is very unlikely for, or less likely for customers to complete long-term content, long-term surveys compared to short-form content, which is forms. So now I've given a basic rundown of forms and surveys. I think I'll pass it over to Mustafa so he can go into further detail about the two, as well as workflows that contribute to surveys and to customers that fulfill them.
All right, so before I start on that, I just wanted to give you an understanding of where I am coming from. When I think about forms and surveys, it's not the difference of length. The difference is who is actually filling out those forms or who is actually filling out those surveys. Now, as Cohen mentioned, if your form contains, let's say, 20 questions, someone who looks at it will get baffled and will be like, oh, okay, this is so much, I don't want to complete it. But if he looks at a survey with a one question at a time, he might be able to fill at least the first five before thinking it's an endless list of questions. But by those five questions, you have gained enough knowledge about them, like their first name, last name, their email, their phone number, so that even if they stop filling out the survey and they cancel the survey, or they click on close in that particular window, you got some sort of an information for you to reach out back to them afterwards. So that's one of the difference. Now, second difference is who will be actually tempted to fill in out the entire form, even if it's 100 questions, or fill in out the survey, which might even take them in an hour to complete. Now, this is something that I found in human psychology, which is very, I think, interesting. If you're a business and I land on your landing page and I see a form of 100 questions, if I have something to gain from you, for example, if I'm applying for a job, if I'm applying for an interview, if I'm applying for some sort of a position or some sort of a thing, for example, if you have a competition running, or if you are providing something that is valuable to me, I will fill out that form. No questions asked. Simple as that. But if you are on the hunt to gain something from me, a visitor on your website or on your landing page, then for me, less is enough. I don't want to give you all my information just like that, because everyone wants my information, including you. So that is where I draw the line. If my forms are for the people with whom they will be benefiting from me, I can ask them as many questions as I want. But if the people that these forms, for the people who are going to open this form and they are important to me, I will use less questions. But what happens if I still want to ask 20 questions to a potential client, and I know they wouldn't give me that much time initially, at least, to fill in out a 20-page form? That's when I will choose a survey. Why? Because survey has the option of partial submission. Even if they just submit the first page and go on to the next page and decide they don't want to fill it out completely or entirely, and they click close, at least I got the first page information. And I will use a form where people are coming to me to give their information because they want something from me. So if someone is applying on a job site, or if someone is trying to apply for a certain position in the company, or if someone is going to apply for a guest post or some opportunity in which they are going to receive the benefit of it, I'm going to place a form. I'm not going to place a survey, because now I know they are going to fill the form. And why do I know that? I have filled such forms. I have filled forms in which there were around 20-25 questions, and I filled that form pretty completely focused. Yeah. So even I think about a month or 2 months ago, I filled out a form that had 35 questions, which contained images, videos, signatures, audios, and so much more. Why? Because they knew they can get away with it. Why? Because the person landing on that form, aka me, I was interested in having a conversation with them. So they can ask me anything, because if I don't fill out the form, it's my loss, not theirs. But if you switch it around, if I'm a potential client for their company, they will want to keep me within that loop for as far as possible. Why? Because if I choose to not contact them, it will be their loss, not mine. So based on that, let's go regarding the forms and service in what manner we are deciding to show you today. So let me just share my screen. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the forms and everything. So within your sub account, or within your account, on the left side bar, you have this option called sites. This is where you can create every type of, or should I say, graphical content or things that will be of pretty much high use for you. So landing pages, stores, webinars, blogs, forms, service, quizzes, and etc. So within here, you click on forms, you click on builder, and you can start with a template, but I will tell you never to start with a template. Why? Because when I'm trying to gather information for me, I want to create something entirely by myself, even though I'm not a design-oriented person, but I am a strategic kind of a person. So I understand the strategy. I understand the decisions required or the questions required to be on that particular form or survey, and then I can just hand it over to someone who knows design and use CSS coding or something like that to beautify it. So right now I have made a small form. Where is it? form number 35. And let's start with the basics. Now, when you're working with a form, and that form is supposed to be lengthy for any reason whatsoever, the best things about a form and for a survey as well, and I'll show you how, but within the forms and surveys, one of the best things are that you can hide literally every field you want. So, for example, I've hidden this. Any field that is hidden cannot be required at the same time. Why? Because if someone does not qualify to be shown that particular field, how is he going to fill it out? So it's either required or it's hidden. Now, why are we hiding information? The reason is, let me show you how to exactly make it. We go over to the custom fields and we click on add in a new custom field. It could be, let's say, a radio select. Next, the question would be, who makes the money in this transaction? And I'll select a drop, let's say the dummy folder, because this is a dummy form. The first option would be you, aka OPM tools. And the second one would be me, aka potential client. I save that. Field added successfully. Perfect. I will try to find that. It would be on the bottom usually. Yep, perfect. I add this over here and come on. I bring it up over here and I made this required. Then what I'm going to do is print the first name as well. And yeah, these kind of things do take a lot of time, but don't hide that, don't hide that. Perfect. Now, so what the concept in my mind is, I'm asking a question, who will make the money in this transaction, whoever is filling the form. If I'm making the money or if someone else is making money, I want some fields to be shown and some fields not to be shown. So for example, what can be the one? All right, so if I'm making money, I need the first name, the last name, the phone, or let's say I need the address. All right, perfect. Address fields, postal, country, city, state, street. Hidden. Come on, hide everything. Hidden value. Perfect. And what I can do is I can hide the phone as well if I want. So if I save it, I'm assuming when I click on preview, it's not going to show me the phone. Yep, it does not show me the phone. So now the reason this is the form that it opened up. So it has my question, but does not show me the phone over here. Coming back to the tab, I click on this conditional logic and I will show and hide the field. So if who makes the money is equals to OPM tools, then show phone. Save. Now this is, I'll explain to you the logic after I demonstrate it, because that's the way I like to do things. And then I click on preview, share the tab. Now, as you can see, the phone number is not present over here, it's hidden. I click on this. Now we have the phone number shown. The reason why we use show and hidden fields is this way you can create a form in which you are not contributing, you're working with all types of people at the same time. So if you create one form for your potential clients and your potential leads and your X types of people and your Y types of people, the reason you want to keep it to one form is because at the end of the day, you'll be bringing all the traffic to one particular location. So you'll be saving a lot of money from ads and a lot of effort from social media, because everything will be landing over here. So you can create a conditional logic based off the questions that you're asking them and the questions which are showed to them afterwards. So for example, if someone says that they are interested in working with you, you show them a different set of questions. And if someone says that they are just looking around trying to find something that will work for them, then you show them a different set of questions. You can do that within forms. And the only downside of the forms would be, as long as they don't click on as long as they do click on this button, the submit button, only then their information would be saved with you. So the reason I'm explaining to you in such a complicated manner is because a lot of business that I've been working with personally are working with two set of different contacts. One are the type of people, or one are the type of contacts that want to work with them, potential hires, potential team members, employees. Think of this in a real estate manner. You have the buyers of a real estate property, and then you have the brokers who are selling the properties, or buyers and sellers. That would be the perfect example. Now, I want to create a form in which all the people jump onto. And the first question would be, are you here to buy or sell? Do you have a property that you want to buy, or do you want to sell? If they click on buy, then the next question that will pop up in front of them would be, what's your range? What are your requirements? How many bedrooms should it have? And things like that. If they want to sell, how much are you going to sell it for? Does it need any repairs? Do you have the mortgage paid? Things like that. Everything that is relevant to that particular set of contact. So based on the first question, the next batch of questions will show, and you can have multiple different layers all on the same form. And when the person clicks on submit, it gets submitted. Now, the reason you're doing it, again, as I mentioned, you want all the traffic coming to one singular source. The reason is you can play with that one source and you can optimize it and enhance it so that the maximum amount of traffic flows to one particular direction instead of multiple different directions. So I hope, even though that sounds a little complicated, but I hope that's quite easy to understand, I guess. Is it? Can I get some sort of reaction?
I think so, but I'm a little biased.
Yeah.
Not bad, not bad.
All right. So that's how you use a form. Now let's move on to a survey. Share this tab. Going back. Now that is a form perspective. If we move on to the survey perspective, the difference is the slide. So it's basically a slideshow in which you are creating different slides and add a survey, start from scratch. And you have to play with the mentality. Now, surveys are generally used for collecting reviews, understanding how the experience went, but you can also use a survey to collect information. Now, this is how I feel personally, and I have tried and tested it, and it works amazingly well. So this is how I feel a survey should be and must be used at every point in time, and it works much better than a form in every possible way. Why? Because think of each slide as a different page, and once they click on submit, they will go to the next page. Now, why do I want to make each page different? Why am I saying it each page or each slide has its own importance? This is the reason. Within each page, let's say this is the first page where they land onto, I'm going to add an image. Now this image could be my logo, my company logo. Then I'm going to add some text over here. Close this. Welcome to my company. This is my bio. This is the reason why you are here and why this is important. Ignore the multiple use of this is. Then I change out the size, let's say to 16, so that's readable. I have the image, let's say if I do have the logo, do I have it? Let me just find that. Downloads, do I have it? I don't know, but I'm just going to use this one. If it loads up properly, yeah, perfect. It does. I'm going to reduce the size, 100 by 100. And then I have the first few questions, which would be the full name. Not like this, full name. And then I need the email address. And now within email address, as well as within the form, as well as on the surveys, you have a thing that you can utilize. If you click on email, on the right-hand side, does it have it? Yeah, perfect. You can click on validate email. And whenever someone enters their email address over here, they'll have to click on verify email. They'll receive an OTP code, which they have to enter. And that will make the system understand that this is an actual working email instead of a dummy email. That is the reason The reason behind that is because you can that way validate the emails to make sure that the leads that you get from the survey or form are accurate. That's the only reason. And bad leads would just basically mess up your entire contact data management department when they see they have 100 leads and only 5 of them are responding, and whereas only 50 leads might be actual data. So I would use verify email, but then again, the more steps you add, the higher quality leads you will get, but the amount of leads total would be lowered. So you have to choose between quality over quantity, whatever floats your boat. So this is the first page where I need the full name, the email. I can even add the phone number over here. I don't need this extra information. Sorry. Perfect. Full name, phone, email. Perfect. Now I click on add a slide. Now that was the first page in which I'm giving out the information or I'm telling something about them. Now this would be the second page. In this page, let's say I want to sell a product. All right. This is the product where a product will be selected. They have to give their information. Again, you can add whatever you want in here. But the reason I'm choosing a different slide is I can add another image over here. It could be the image of an object. It could be image of the product itself. It could be anything I want. I could add another text over here. This is why my product is a need for you, or anything, whatever my copywriter tells me to type, I'll type it out. So this way, each page of the form itself could act as a different form within the same landing page, within the same website. You can add different images, different text. Why am I emphasizing on that? Is because when someone is filling out a form or a survey, you are literally taking them on a journey where each question matters. And your job when you're creating a form or survey is to make that survey so visually appealing and so direct and straightforward that they don't have to think much before answering it or filling out the field, whatever it may be. What is your height? What is your weight? When I was working with the people in insurance, for them, height and weight really matters. Their health matters. Everything matters. So the more information they give out, they can add a video over here as well, I guess. Not in survey. Sucks. But I think you can add a GIF if you want. Then you have file upload option in which they can upload files as well. So you can tell them which files they need to upload, and you can add an image of a screenshot of a particular document to show them what that document is supposed to look like. What's that monetary? You can add a monetary value to it as well. So yeah, so you have quite a few things that you can play around with. And the reason why I'm using a survey is because I want each page to act as a separate form. And if the first page is submitted, it saves it. If the second page is submitted, it updates it. If I choose to exit the survey on the second page, the first page is at least submitted. So Michael or Andy, you can reach out to me maybe next week and be something like, hey, Mustafa, we saw that you came to our survey, you filled it halfway. Is there a reason that you couldn't finish it? Maybe the lack of time, the lack of interest. Is there any way that we can extend our services or our help towards you in filling out that form? Something like that. So yeah, you'll have some sort of information going forward with. So my personal take on that is, in this entire scenario would be, go for a survey at all times, create each page as a separate form, as a separate mini form, add your logo, add some sort of information, and prompt them into why they should be entering their information. So that's number one. Number two, the length of the form and survey depends entirely upon for whom that form or survey is being made for. Regardless, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Why? Because within this software, you can choose which fields you want to show, which fields you want to hide. As long as you can hide fields, a 20 question form can turn into a 4 questions form, depending upon what they answer and what fields are shown. Does that make sense? Because it does to me.
Again, I might be biased, but yes, it makes sense to me.
Perfect. So I hope that gives you a small introductory idea of why we choose surveys and why we should choose surveys, whereas the entire world is hell bent on forms. I personally would choose survey each time instead of a form. Surveys for me would work amazingly well. But then again, surveys or forms, whichever you choose, the object or the purpose of that is lead capturing or data capturing. So whatever works the best for you, you can utilize that, but make it in a way that you're guiding your visitor, your website visitor, your landing page visitor, you're guiding them into filling out that form in the way you want them to fill it out. So this is your first name. Enter your first name in a way so that we know whom we are talking to, even though that's self-explanatory. But the the it the information that you're adding over here shows your intent of your communication with them. It shows that there's a person who actually worked on building a form instead of just clicking on a template and selecting it and moving forward with it. So the reason we've started this workshop today and the reason we have started this particular topic today for this quarter, the third quarter of 2025, is today we just showed you how to create a form and how to create a survey. In the next one, we'll be working on workflows and calendars. In the next one, we'll be working on funnels, landing pages, and on the final workshop of this month, it would be how to connect each of those elements together. And then we'll be showing you different case studies of different businesses on how they're using different features of this system. And yeah, that's the basic motive behind these workshop series are so we can show you how to utilize the system and we can facilitate you with information or things you might not know and you can start using it. But then again, your input really, really matters. Because if I'm talking to a wall, if I'm talking to my computer or my laptop, without anyone answering me back, I wouldn't get to know if whether the information that I'm providing you is valid, it's something that is needed from you, or should I be presenting something else? So yeah, I'm not complaining, I'm just making a recommendation. So yeah, that would conclude today's meeting. But if you have any questions regarding forms and surveys, or if you need any help in building forms and surveys, and you require our help, our expertise, or if you want to do just some brainstorming sessions, you can always reach out to us at support@OverPower Marketing. Or Cohen, can you show them where else they can reach out to us within the OPM Tool software? But for the people who are outside of OPM Tool software, can either go to OverPower Marketing's website and schedule a support meeting with us, or you can email us at support@overpowermarketing.com.
Absolutely. Yeah, so as Mustafa was saying, if you go to your sub account and go to the top right corner, you will see this Need Help icon. If you click on that, it will bring up the AI Support Assistant, where you have plenty of options available to you, whether that be start a Zoom call, start a 24/7 chat with one of our employees, or if you want to raise a support ticket, that also works as well if you're having any issues while using OPM tools. Now, another option as well is the support knowledge base. If you want to be a do-it-yourself kind of person and just like figure out your issue or learn more about the software, this is where you would want to go. This has plenty of articles available to you that regarding OPM tools on how to basically use it, the basic fundamentals, and just overall some good information. And finally, there is the schedule support meeting. Submit request. On this page, you just fill out all the fields accordingly. Once you do that, just tell us what the issue is, and we are more than happy to schedule a meeting with you, whether that be a suggestion on what you want to see on your sub account, if you're having an issue that you would like resolved, or just general tips. Feel free to go here, fill it out, and we will be more than happy to start a meeting with you. But yeah, those are the multiple ways that you can use OPM tools to your advantage and learn more about the software. And we hope to see you next week. Next week, I believe, Mustafa, correct me if I'm wrong, but we have a special guest speaker coming next week. Is that right?
Yep, that's true. We do. Okay. And the details of that next speaker will be revealed to you in the email that you will get before the meeting.
Be sure to look out for that next week. But yeah, I want to thank you all for coming, and we hope to see you next week.